The next category in conditional statements is else if ladder. Else if ladder is a type of conditional statements where we can have so many options, so many conditions to be checked. If any one of the condition is checked, a corresponding action will be performed. So if the syntax for else if ladder is this, if condition 1 we have given inside the if statement, if the condition 1 is true, statement block 1 will be executed. So this statement block 1 is nothing but a set of statements which perform an action. So this one will be executed when condition 1 is true. Now if condition 1 is false, you have another condition to be checked. At least this condition, if it is satisfied, you can perform something else. So that will be written inside else space if, all in small letters. Else is a keyword, if is also a keyword. So within the bracket you will mention condition 2. If condition 2 is satisfied, because condition 1 is false, we have come to condition 2. If condition 2 is satisfied, then you have statement block 2, that is this block will be executed. This if body will be executed. Now suppose if condition 2 also is false, you can have any number of conditions like that put inside else if condition. So else if condition 3, if condition 3 is true, statement block 3 will be executed. Suppose this also is false. If the given conditions, from the given conditions, if none of the conditions are false, if none of the conditions are true, you have a default set of statements which are written inside the else body that will be executed. So this is about else if ladder. You can have any number of conditions. If any of the conditions are satisfied, you have a corresponding set of action to be performed. And if none of the conditions which are given are satisfied, then we have a default set of statements which are written inside the else body to be executed. Now this flowchart explains the else if ladder. Here we enter into the if body. Here we have condition 1. If condition 1 is true, statement 1 will be executed. After executing statement 1, we come out of the entire if body, the entire if block, and then start executing the remaining statements in the program. Now if the condition 1 is false, then you have another condition to be checked, that is condition 2 to be checked. And if condition 2 is true, you have statement 2 to be executed. If condition 2 is false, you have another condition to check. Okay, so this condition 3, if it is true, you have statement 3 to be executed, and if it is false, you have another condition to be checked. This can go on for n number of conditions, and if none of the given conditions are true, you have a default set of statements to be executed, whether it is default statement or statement n or statement 3 or statement 2 or statement 1, whichever is executed. After executing it, we come out of the entire if block and start executing the remaining statements in the program. So this can be explained by using a C program, and this program, the main concept, the aim of this program is to check whether a given number is divisible by 5 or divisible by 8 or divisible by 5 and 8. So here firstly we will include the stdio.h header file, then open the main function. In the main function we need to get one integer value from the user. So we are declaring a variable, an integer variable int a. And we need to ask the user to enter the value for a. So firstly we use the output function printf and display this message onto the output screen, enter a number. Now when the user sees this message, the user will enter a number. That value should be read from the keyboard. For that we use the input function scanf. So scanf %d is the format string which is used to read an integer value from the keyboard. So %d within double quotes, put a comma, and the value that we have read from the keyboard will be stored in the address of which variable, that is a. Now we need to check whether this a is divisible by 5 as well as 8. To check whether this a value, this integer value is divisible by 5 and 8, we have to give a condition inside the if condition. So if a modulus 5, okay, if you divide a by 5 and you get a remainder as 0, and this logical AND is introduced here because we need to check whether that A value, the value that we have got from the user, is divisible by 5 as well as 8. So we have included this logical AND operator, and A modulus 8 is equal to 0. We are checking whether when we divide the A value by 8, we get a remainder 0. So when both these conditions are true, then only this if condition is found to be true. So if this is true, then we come inside the if body. Here we will display this message onto the output screen telling that it is divisible by both 5 and 8. Suppose this condition, at least any of these conditions are false or both are false, in that place what you will do, you will come out of the if body, and there you have one more condition to be checked, else if. That condition is put inside the else if body, else if part. So else if A modulus 8 is equal to 0. So if this condition is true, then we can say that it is divisible by 8. Now suppose this condition also is false, then you have one more condition to check whether it is divisible by at least 5. So A modulus 5 is equal to 0. We can conclude that divisible by 5. Now this condition also, first condition is false, second condition is false, and the third condition also is false. The given conditions are all false. Then you should have a default statement to be executed, that is printf divisible by none. So this explains the else if ladder. So conditional statements, in the beginning I told you we have two categories of conditional statements in C programming. First one is if condition, if statement, and the second one is switch statement. So if statement, we had four categories: simple if else, nested if else, and else if ladder, which we have seen one by one so far. Now we are going to see about switch statement. So switch statement is a control statement which gives us so many options, and from the so many options which are given, we can choose only one option based on a case value. Based on a case value, we can choose one among the so many options which are given and execute only that particular set of statements and then come out of the switch statement. So here, this is the syntax of a switch statement. So here in the switch statement, we have to pass an expression, a constant value which we have to pass inside the switch statement. This constant value, it can be of integer type or character type. So inside the switch expression, it can be an expression which will be reduced to a value, or a value directly, or a variable which contains a value. So that value we will pass into the switch statement, and this value will be matched with any of these case values which are given. So the switch is a keyword and case is a keyword. All should be written within small letters. So case, we have to give a space here and mention the values. This value that we are writing in the case statements, they are also of integer or character type. If it is character type, you have to put it within single quotes. Integers can be written as it is. So case value 1, and then we have to put a colon. So colon, and write down the set of statements to be executed, and then we can see that here we have included break statements. This break statement is included because once we pass a value into the switch statement, only the case statement which matches its value has to be executed. After executing the particular case value which has matched, then you have to break from the entire switch statement and come out of the switch statement, and then start executing the remaining statements in the program. So that is why we have included a break statement at the end of all the case values, and at the end of default case, a break statement is optional. Okay, even if we don't give, the next statement that is yet to be executed is the remaining part of the program. So here, this is the syntax of switch statement. Switch, you give an expression. Expression can be an expression which can be reduced to a value, or a variable which contains a value, or a value directly, and that value will be tried to match with any of these case values. And inside the case statements, we have included the set of statements to be executed along with a break statement which will break out of the entire switch statement. And lastly, we have a default statement. If the value which you have passed into the switch statement does not match with any of these values, then the default statements which we have included at the last will be executed. So we can conclude that from all of these blocks inside the switch statement, one will be executed for sure. Now this is the flowchart which explains the switch statement. So here we begin switch and we pass a value into the switch, and that value will be matched with any of these case values. If the value which we have passed into the switch statement matches with case 1, statement 1 will be executed. If it matches with case 2, statement 2 will be executed. So out of all these case values, only one will match, and if none of it matches, only the default statement will match. Only the default statement will be executed. So whether it is statement 1, it is 1 executed, 2 or 3 or whichever is executed, finally we come out of the switch statement and then execute the remaining statements in the program. So this program explains the working of a switch statement in C program. So here this program is about getting an operator from the user as well as 2 operands from the user, and ask the user what operation is to be performed on the operands. So using a switch statement, we are going to implement this program. So firstly, using the character data type, we are declaring operator. N1 and N2 are the 2 operands. Printf, enter an operator, that is, you are trying to get an operator from the user. The user can enter the operator which is taken with a format string of character variable. So %C ampersand operator. Now you have to get 2 operands from the user, N1 and N2. Those are integer values, so %D is the format string, and we are passing the operator into the switch statement. That operator will be matched with either plus or minus or star or division, or you can include any more operators. If none of it is matched, we should also include a default set of statements. So if the operator is matching with plus, that means we need to execute this statement. What does the statement say? %D plus %D equal to %D. For this %D, we are trying to add N1 and N2. So N1, N2, this one will be N1 plus N2. The answer of N1 plus N2 will be displayed in this place. And then you break and come out of the entire switch statement. Next you have minus. If the operator that you have entered is matching with minus, then this statement will be executed. You get N1 minus N2 is equal to the answer, the difference between N1 and N2. Then if it is star, N1 into N2 is equal to the product of N1 and N2. And if it is division, N1 divided by N2 is equal to the quotient you will get. And you can include any number of operations like this inside the switch statement. And if the operator that you have passed into the switch statement does not match with any of these case values, then the default statement that you have given, that is printf error operator is not correct, will be displayed onto the output screen. So this explains a switch statement. Thank you.